Hey friends, welcome back to the Daily Health Shift. I'm Daniel, your host. Today's episode is one I wish I'd heard years ago because we're talking about something that affects every single part of your health. Gut health. Yep, your digestion, your gut bacteria, they're not just about avoiding stomach issues. Your gut affects your mood, your immune system, your energy levels, even how well you sleep. Today we're going deep into gut health basics, why it matters, what's hurting your gut, and most importantly, simple steps you can take starting today to support better digestion and better overall health. Let's start from the top. Why does gut health matter so much? First off, your gut isn't just one organ, it's an entire ecosystem. Trillions of bacteria live in your digestive tract. Scientists call this your microbiome. And here's the wild part. Your gut has its own nervous system, sometimes called the second brain. Imagine walking through a dense forest. Every plant, every animal, every fungus in that ecosystem plays a role. Your gut is similar. There are good bacteria that help you digest food, bad bacteria that can cause inflammation, and neutral ones just existing. When that balance is right, everything works smoothly. But when it's off, it's like throwing trash into a forest. Over time, the whole system degrades. I learned about this a few years back when I was struggling with constant bloating, fatigue, skin breakouts, and mood swings. Turns out it wasn't just bad luck. My gut was out of balance. I had what's called dysbiosis. Too many bad bacteria, not enough good ones. And once I started focusing on fixing that, everything changed. Here's what the gut does. Breaks down food into usable nutrients, regulates hormones, produces neurotransmitters like serotonin, your feel-good chemical, communicates with your immune system. To put it simply, your gut is the control center for everything else in your body. Now let's dig deeper. Did you know that about 70% of your immune system lives in your gut lining? It's called GALT, gut-associated lymphoid tissue. This is your body's first line of defense. When your gut is healthy, it protects you from infections, allergens, and even cancer cells. When it's unhealthy, the barrier weakens. That's when things like leaky gut happen. Tiny holes in the gut lining allow toxins and undigested food particles into your bloodstream, triggering inflammation. That's not some fringe idea. It's backed by real science. Researchers from Harvard, Stanford, all the big names have done studies showing links between gut health and chronic conditions like autoimmune diseases like Crohn's, rheumatoid arthritis, obesity, depression and anxiety, Alzheimer's, and dementia. The gut-brain connection is especially fascinating. Your gut produces about 90% of your body's serotonin. That's more than your brain does. So if your gut is off, your mood is off. I remember once after a week of eating poorly, lots of takeout, sugary snacks, not enough fiber, I felt noticeably more anxious and sluggish. It wasn't in my head, it was in my gut. Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine, Sarah, used to struggle with terrible skin issues. She tried every cream, every dermatologist. Nothing worked until she focused on gut health. Once she changed her diet, added probiotics and prebiotics, her skin cleared up within weeks. That's the gut-skin axis in action. The same applies to energy levels. Another friend, Mike, couldn't figure out why he felt exhausted all the time, even with 8 hours of sleep. Turned out his gut bacteria were out of balance, affecting how he processed nutrients. Fixing that brought his energy back. So when I say gut health is foundational, I really mean it. It touches every part of your life. Now let's go even broader. Throughout history, traditional medicine systems have focused on digestion as central to health. Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, both say the same thing. Modern science is now confirming. When your gut works, you thrive. When it doesn't, everything else breaks down. One more layer, genetic research. Scientists now study what's called nutrigenomics, how your genes interact with your diet and gut health. Some people have genetic predispositions to gut issues like lactose intolerance or gluten sensitivity. But even if you don't, maintaining a diverse, balanced microbiome protects against hidden risks. You might be wondering, how do I even start knowing what's going on in my gut? There are gut microbiome tests now. Send in a stool sample, get a breakdown of your bacteria. But even without that, your body gives you signals. Energy, mood, skin, sleep, immunity, digestion. When these are off, it's often a gut clue. So let's recap this part. Your gut is an ecosystem that affects digestion, immunity, mood, skin, energy, and long-term health. Modern life disrupts that balance with processed food, stress, medications, and sedentary habits. Paying attention to your gut today is an investment in your future self. In the next section, we'll get into the signs your gut needs help and how to recognize those clues before things get serious. So how do you know if your gut is struggling? For me, the first clues were things like constant bloating after meals, fatigue even after sleeping 8 hours, skin breakouts that wouldn't clear up, and mood swings, especially irritability and anxiety. At first, I didn't connect these symptoms to my gut. I thought it was just stress, or maybe I wasn't sleeping enough, or it was just how my body worked. But then I started paying closer attention. One morning, I ate a bagel and a protein bar. Quick breakfast, nothing unusual. But within an hour, I felt sluggish, foggy-headed, and bloated. That's when it clicked. My body was giving me signals. Other signs include food intolerances. Maybe you notice dairy or gluten mess you up more than they used to. Or unexplained weight changes, either gaining or losing without a clear reason. Frequent colds or illnesses too. If your immune system seems off, it could be starting in your gut. And here's a big one: trouble focusing or memory problems. What researchers call brain fog. One listener wrote in a while ago sharing her story. Daniel, I always thought my anxiety was just mental. But after cutting back on processed foods and focusing on gut health, I felt calmer and more clear-headed. My brain fog lifted in ways I didn't even know were possible. That's the gut-brain axis in action. Here's why this connection is so powerful. Your gut and brain talk to each other through something called the vagus nerve. It's like a direct communication line. And when your gut bacteria are out of balance, that line gets noisy. You feel it as stress, anxiety, irritability, or just feeling off. There are even studies showing links between gut health and depression. One study from 2023 tracked over 1,000 people and found that those with diverse, balanced gut bacteria had lower rates of mood disorders. And it wasn't about taking antidepressants, it was about food and lifestyle. Now let's talk about some signs that show up in less obvious ways. Skin issues are huge. Acne, eczema, rosacea, these can all be gut-related. Think of your skin as a mirror for your internal health. When inflammation is brewing inside, it shows up on the outside. Energy crashes are another clue. You might feel fine after coffee, but by 2 or 3 p.m., you hit a wall. Or you wake up already feeling tired. That's often about poor nutrient absorption. Your gut isn't pulling the fuel it needs from your food. Sleep problems can connect too. If your gut bacteria are out of sync, it messes with melatonin production. That's the hormone that regulates your sleep cycle. I used to think I was just a bad sleeper, but fixing my gut improved my sleep quality dramatically. And then there's immunity. If you catch every cold, if allergies seem worse than they should, if recovery from workouts or illnesses takes longer, look at your gut. Remember, 70% of your immune system lives there. One of the wildest things I learned was about stool patterns. Yeah, we're going there. Frequency, consistency, color, all give clues about gut health. Regular, easy-to-pass movements once or twice a day, that's what you want. Anything less or more often or extreme changes could mean imbalance. So when people say, I think my gut is off, it's not just about stomach aches, it's about your whole life experience. Mood, energy, skin, focus, sleep, immunity, it's all connected. Here's what I recommend. Start tracking your own patterns. Keep a little health journal. Write down what you eat, how you feel after meals, your mood, energy, sleep, digestion, you'll start to see trends. I did this for 2 weeks and it opened my eyes to patterns I'd never noticed before. And remember, symptoms don't always show up overnight. Gut health is a long game. The habits that hurt your gut take time to show their effects, and the habits that help it take time to heal. Next, we're going to dive into the most common gut health mistakes people make. Things I see all the time as a coach and content creator, and mistakes I made myself before I knew better. Before we get into solutions, let's talk honestly about what might be hurting your gut right now. Because most of us, myself included back in the day, are doing things every single day that quietly damage our gut health. And we don't even realize it. That's why I always say, awareness is the first step to change. You can't fix what you don't know is broken. So here are the most common gut health mistakes I see, both from my own experience and from coaching listeners and clients around the world. Mistake 1. Eating too much processed food. We live in a world where convenience is king. Fast food, packaged snacks, protein bars, sodas, these foods are engineered to taste good, but often contain artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and chemicals that your gut bacteria hate. For years, I thought grabbing a diet soda and a protein bar was a healthy choice, but I was feeding the wrong microbes, the ones linked to inflammation, weight gain, and poor mood. Think about it. Your gut bacteria evolved over thousands of years to digest real food. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds. When you suddenly switch to eating mostly packaged stuff, your microbiome gets confused. It's like trying to fuel a car with the wrong type of gas. It'll run, but badly. Mistake 2. Overusing antibiotics. Now, antibiotics save lives. They're essential medicine, but they don't just kill bad bacteria, they wipe out good ones too. And if you don't actively rebuild your gut after a round of antibiotics, you leave it vulnerable to imbalance. I've worked with people who needed antibiotics for an infection, but never took probiotics or adjusted their diet afterward. Months later, they developed digestive issues they'd never had before. That's no coincidence. Mistake 3. Chronic stress. This one hits hard because stress is invisible. You can't see cortisol levels rising or your gut lining getting inflamed from mental pressure, but it's happening. Stress changes the way your body digests food, absorbs nutrients, and even how your immune system functions. I remember during one of my busiest content creation seasons, filming daily, editing at 2 a.m., skipping workouts, my digestion went haywire. Constant bloating, random stomach cramps. It wasn't food sensitivity, it was stress. Mistake 4. Low fiber diet. Fiber is food for your good bacteria. If you don't give them fiber, they starve. Most Americans get less than half the recommended daily fiber intake. That's a big reason gut issues are so widespread. One listener story stands out here. A guy named Alex messaged me saying, "Daniel, I thought I was healthy because I hit the gym every day, but I ate mostly protein and barely any veggies. I was constipated all the time until I added more fiber." Mistake 5. Taking probiotics without prebiotics. This is a newer one I see a lot thanks to social media trends. People buy expensive probiotic supplements but forget about prebiotics, the fiber that feeds those bacteria. Without prebiotics, probiotics pass right through without sticking around. Think of it like planting seeds but never watering them. You need both, the seeds, probiotics, and the water and soil, prebiotics. Mistake 6. Eating too fast. This might seem small, but it matters. Digestion starts in your mouth. When you rush through meals barely chewing, swallowing big bites, you make your gut's job harder. I used to eat while editing videos, mindless fast bites. Slowing down improved my digestion more than I expected. Mistake 7. Ignoring sleep. Your gut bacteria have a circadian rhythm just like you do. Bad sleep throws off their balance. One bad night might not hurt, but chronic sleep deprivation damages gut health long-term. Mistake 8. Overuse of NSAIDs and other medications. Things like ibuprofen, aspirin, They're fine occasionally, but too much damages the gut lining. Same with alcohol. Regular drinking, even socially, hurts gut bacteria balance. Mistake 9. Lack of variety. Eating the same 3 to 4 foods every day limits microbiome diversity. Your gut loves variety. Different fibers, different nutrients. That's why people in blue zones, those longevity hotspots, eat dozens of plant types every week. Mistake 10. Not listening to your body. This is maybe the biggest mistake of all. Ignoring bloating, ignoring skin breakouts, ignoring mood swings. Your body speaks. Gut issues often whisper before they scream. If I'd listened earlier, I could have saved myself months of discomfort. So here's the takeaway from this section. Modern life sets us up for gut health problems by default. It's not about blaming yourself. It's about becoming aware and starting to make changes. In the next part, we'll get into exactly how to build a gut-healthy lifestyle, not as a quick fix, but as a sustainable way of living. Now that we've covered all the common mistakes, it's time for solutions, but not quick fix solutions. We're talking about building a lifestyle, because gut health isn't something you reset once and forget. It's ongoing care, like watering a garden or tuning up a car. Step 1. Simplify your food. This doesn't mean eating bland chicken and broccoli forever. It means cutting back on packaged foods and focusing on whole, real ingredients. I always tell clients, shop the perimeter of the grocery store. That's where you find fresh produce, meat, dairy, whole grains. The middle aisles, that's where most of the ultra-processed stuff lives. Step 2. Build a fiber habit. Most people hear fiber and think cereal, but real fiber comes from fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. Aim for 30 to 40 grams per day if you can. One of my favorite gut-friendly breakfasts is overnight oats with chia seeds, berries, and flaxseed. Easy, filling, and packed with fiber. Step 3. Include fermented foods. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso. These foods naturally contain probiotics that help repopulate your gut with healthy bacteria. When I started adding a little bit of fermented food every day, even just a spoonful of sauerkraut on my lunch, I noticed less bloating and more consistent digestion. Step 4. Prioritize stress management. This is where many people slip up. You can eat all the right things, but if you're chronically stressed, your gut won't thrive. I've made daily meditation part of my morning routine, even just 5 to 10 minutes. Some people prefer prayer, deep breathing, or walking in nature. Whatever calms your nervous system, make time for it. Step 5. Hydration. Water supports the mucosal lining of your intestines and helps everything move smoothly. Aim for half your body weight in ounces per day, more if you're active. Step 6. Sleep hygiene. Go to bed and wake up at consistent times. Keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. Stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed to give your gut a break overnight. Step 7. Mind your meds. Talk to your doctor about how medications may affect gut health. This includes antibiotics, painkillers, even things like birth control. I'm not saying stop necessary meds, but be aware and support your gut alongside them. Step 8. Listen to your body. Track your meals, symptoms, and patterns. If something feels off, investigate. Don't ignore early signs. One tip that helps a lot of my clients is building routines around these habits. For example, morning routine. Wake up, drink a glass of water, stretch, 10 minutes meditation, healthy breakfast. Evening routine. Light dinner, no snacks after 8 p.m., wind down with a book or quiet music, not Netflix. And most importantly, start small. Don't try to change everything overnight. Pick 1 or 2 habits per week. Week 1, cut back on processed snacks. Week 2, add a daily salad. Week 3, buy sauerkraut or kefir. Progress builds momentum. To close out this deep dive, I want to get personal with you, because everything I've shared today isn't just theory or stuff I read in books. It's from real experience. A few years ago, I hit a wall. Constant fatigue, skin issues, bloating. I felt 10 years older than I was. Running my YouTube channel, trying to build my business, working late nights. I wasn't taking care of myself. I thought I was just busy. But it was deeper than that. It wasn't until I saw a functional medicine doctor who ran a gut health test that I understood what was really happening. My microbiome was out of balance, low diversity, high inflammation markers, and my cortisol, my stress hormone, was through the roof. That's when I committed to gut health seriously. First, I cut back on processed foods. No more diet sodas, no more energy drinks. I focused on real meals: eggs, oats, veggies, fruit, lean proteins. Then I added daily fermented foods, yogurt with live cultures, sauerkraut, and kimchi. At first it felt weird, but within a month I noticed better energy, clearer skin, less brain fog. I also overhauled my sleep. No more 2 a.m. editing sessions. I set a strict bedtime routine. Lights out by 10:30 p.m., no screens after 9:30. I made my bedroom a calm space. Blackout curtains, no devices. Stress management was the hardest part, but I made it non-negotiable. Morning meditation, evening walks without my phone, deeper conversations with friends instead of always texting. After 6 months of steady changes, the difference was undeniable. I felt like myself again, but better. More patient, more focused, more energized. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing gut health content. Because it's not just about fixing stomach issues. It's about living fully, about being able to show up for your family, your work, your goals, without feeling dragged down by invisible health issues. If you're listening right now and feeling overwhelmed, wondering where to start, just pick one thing. Add one new habit this week. Trust me, your future self will thank you for it. In our next and final section, we'll wrap up today's episode with a quick recap and some action steps to take home. My personal gut health journey. To wrap up, I want to share more about my own gut health journey. A few years ago, I was dealing with constant fatigue and skin issues. I thought it was just stress or age. But after working with a nutritionist, I discovered my gut was way out of balance. We focused on cleaning up my diet first. More plants, less processed food. Then I added fermented foods, daily yogurt, sauerkraut. I learned to love kimchi. I also cut back on late-night snacking, which messes with digestion overnight. Over a few months, my energy improved. My skin cleared up, my sleep got deeper, and maybe most importantly, my mood felt more stable. That's when I realized gut health wasn't just about avoiding bloating. It was about showing up fully in life. All right, friends, that's it for today's deep dive. If this episode helped you, let me know. Drop a comment, leave a review, and share it with someone who might be struggling with energy, skin, mood, or digestion. And if you want more science-backed, real-life health advice, make sure to subscribe to the Daily Health Shift. Next week, we're diving into how to boost energy naturally. No caffeine needed. I'll see you then.